Mindsetters, welcome to today's Maths Literacy Show. Today we have a special revision lesson on finance. We have selected highlights from lessons shown earlier in the year to help you with your revision. Please send us your questions and comments on Facebook, on facebook.com/learnextra, or on Twitter @learnextra, so we can help you revise. Don't forget to download today's show notes on learn.mindset.co.za, or you can click on the link on our Facebook page. Now it's time to get on with today's lesson.
Question 1. Consider the following formula when answering this question, which comprises of a set of multiple choice questions. Okay. Now, chaps, what is my feeling on multiple choice questions? Are they straightforward and easy, or are they a bit tough to answer?
They're tough to answer because they
Why?
can confuse you. Because most answers might seem similar or the same, and they're actually not.
So when we derive or when we make up multiple choice questions, folks, we tend to put the answers in because we know the mistakes students are going to make. And so when students do the little calculation and they make the mistake, they look up and say, hey, there's the answer, it's number A. And they circle and they're proud because A is on the paper and it's on their calculator, meantime it's the wrong thing altogether. Okay, so when a person sets multiple choice questions, they don't just put any random answers in. They think, what will the students do wrong? Let me do that wrong and see what answer I get. What else could they do wrong? Let me make that mistake as well and put that answer. So although the answer will be in one of the choices, it doesn't mean it's necessarily correct. You've got to make sure you've done the correct working. And I always tell you guys that.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Especially James. He gets so excited when he sees the answer on the paper, and then he just gets a whole lot of crosses. Okay, so now we got these multiple choice. Here are three formulas that are given to you. Formula 1, A is equal to P, bracket, 1 plus I times N. What formula is that, guys? For what?
Formula 1, that's compound interest.
Compound, absolutely. Okay. So this is the compound when I'm finding the total amount that's in the bank. What is this formula?
Simple.
Simple interest. Okay. And that's simple, but again, it's for finding the total. What is this formula?
That's to find the interest, how much interest is being earned.
Okay, just the interest.
Just not the
All right.
interest rate.
Cool. So it's also simple, but it's just the interest. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now we know what those formulas are. Let's read this. On the day his son turns 19, a father went off to the bank and deposited 100,000 rand. Sure, I'll put it to you, this lady, where would he have got that 100,000 rand from? Okay, let's move on. He puts it in a bank account that was offering 4.75% per annum. What's per annum mean, Carl?
Per year.
Absolutely, cool. Compound interest. Now this is kind of important. Eh? Presume the interest rate remains unchanged and presume that the father leaves the 100,000 rand in the bank without depositing or withdrawing any money until the son turns 21 years old. As a 21st birthday present, the father withdraws all the money from the bank and gives the son the interest that was accumulated. Okay. Each of the following, just write down the letter. Right, let's not worry about it. Right, so here we go. Read the question to me, James.
Which formula should one use when working with this problem?
Okay, what is the problem dealing with? Simple interest or compound?
Compound.
Compound. And where's my compound interest? What formula?
Formula 1.
Absolutely. Where's Formula 1?
A.
A. Brilliant. Right, Carl, read the next one for me.
The 100,000 rand is represented by.
The P, the A, the R, the N. Now remember, our formula is A is equal to P, 1 plus I, all to the power of N. Cool? So what is where's the 100,000 going to fit into this?
James.
That's A, P. It's the P.
It's the AP.
It's P.
It's P, which is letter A. Geez, that was confusing, eh? It's AP. It's P. It's PA. It's okay.
Advanced
Right, let's
program
go.
maths.
Sounds like a political party here. Right, now, 4.5% is represented by what?
I.
The I, the interest. Okay, cool. Now, here's a good one. 4.5% can also be written as what? 475, 4.75, 0,475 or 0,0475?
That's C, 0,475.
0,475. Absolutely wrong, hey? Okay. Why is he wrong, Kyle?
That's
I
such a
don't know
lie.
too. I would say C or D.
C or D. You would go with C or D. You'd pull out a coin in the exam, flip it up, see where it lands, and that's how you make the call.
If I wasn't sure, yeah.
Oh my word. Okay, guys, 4,75% is over 100.
As D.
Okay? Now, out comes the calculator, and we say 4.75 over 100 equals 0,
C or,
0.475.
C or D.
That was close enough.
Okay. Yeah, I was just
C or
wanting
D.
to get out. Okay, so,
Similar, same thing.
right, the value for n. Okay, so n is the number of
Yes.
years. Okay, in this case, what's it going to be? The 100,000, the 3, 4.75, or 2?
2.
2. Because it was 2 years, wasn't it?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
it was from 19 to 20 to 21. Right. Finally, the father will give the son how much money at the end of it. Now, guys, you can't answer that just by looking to, oh, yeah, it's that. We've actually got to do the calculation. So we're going to say, I have, let's do this calculation, let's find room, there we go. We've got the calculation A, or the formula rather, is equal to P1 plus I all to the power of N. Okay, what was our P value, chaps?
100,000.
100,000 Rand, excellent. 1 plus, what was my interest rate?
4.75.
4,75, and
Over
as
100.
over 100, or I could write it as
0,075.
0,04.
475.
Brilliant. And for how many years?
2.
Okay, and then we're going to do it on our calculator. Oh, not 3. Okay. Should I do this, or do you want to come out here and do it?
Carl can do it.
Carl?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Carl, let's do this. All right. So what are we doing now? We're going to try and push 100,000. Cool. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Brackets. 1 plus interest 5, and then brackets, and then
Square. Brilliant. Okay.
and click equals.
Fit.
Change it.
Okay, right. So here we go. I'm going to push that button to make sure we
Yes,
get
sir.
it. Right. So there's our answer. 109,725 and now look what this examiner's done.
Two.
That's
Ah.
ugly, isn't it? Okay.
It's quite
Which one is it going to be, chaps?
It's going to be A.
62 cents or 63 cents?
63 cents.
Absolutely.
5, yeah.
Why?
Because you round it's money, you always keep it to 2 decimal places and you
Okay.
round it up.
And the
because of
5 means we're going to
Round it to
round up.
63.
Okay. So the answer is D. Brilliant. Was
No,
it?
it's
Did I make
A.
a mistake?
No, it's
It's
A.
It's going to be
A.
A.
100 and
How
that's
much
right.
it gets
Cool.
at the end.
Okay. What did I don't know why I did that, hey? What was I looking at?
You were looking at the interest. how
Just
much
the interest, right. Absolutely. Made a mistake. That's embarrassing. I put it to you, my lady. Okay. I don't know. Right. So, I can't remember.
You
Right.
can't remember.
So what I was doing was I looked at the interest, not the full amount. And the question asked us, Carl, how much money
Did he get?
did the son get? The full amount. He didn't just get the interest. He got everything. Okay. So the father will give the son 109,007. Is that right? Have we read the question correctly?
We have.
The question
Think so.
says, as transfer, the father withdraws all the money from bank, gives the son. Hold on. This is not just a pretty face, okay? He gives the son what?
The interest.
Interest.
Only the interest. So I ask you with tears in my eyes, who was right initially, my lady?
Oh, okay. you're
Okay,
Ah.
so it is the 9,725 Rand and 63 cents. Now, let's look at this question behind me. Complete the following table. We put money into a bank for 2 months. The amount in the account at the beginning of that month is 20,000 Rand. Okay. The interest rate is 4.5% per year compounded monthly, right? So we've got to now work out how much money are we going to have in this account at the end of month 1. More importantly, how much money are we going to have in our account at the end of month 2? Okay, James, what's the first thing we're going to do, boy?
We're gonna first.
Find
The
the interest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've gone
what
blank.
4.5%?
He's still coming second, third,
Trying to
fourth
work
in
out
the
my
race.
joke.
Yeah. He hasn't understood his own joke. He's trying to work it out. Okay. So basically, we've got to say, well, how much interest do I have? Okay. Now, Carl, what interest are we being charged every year?
4.5%.
4.5%. Would you agree? Now, how can I write 4,5? Another way of doing it. 0,
0, 4,
4.
5.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Why? How did we get 0,045?
Over
Divided
4.5 over 100.
Excellent.
And then-
4,5 divided by 100 gives us 0,045. Now, Carl, that interest rate is for how long?
Per year.
Per year. Are
So
we
it's
keeping our money in for a full year?
No, 1
What are
month.
we keeping it for 1 month? Okay. So after a month, we can't go to our bank manager and say, hey, give me my 4,5%. He's going to say, no, hold it, Brew. If you're the bank manager. Okay? Hold it, Brew. Okay. It can't be 4,5%. It's 4,5% if you leave that money in for the entire year. But we're not leaving it in for the entire year. We're only leaving it in for 12 for 1 month of the 12 months. So what must we do to that interest rate?
Divide by
Divided
12.
Divided by 12. Absolutely. Okay. So we're going to try and find 0,045 divided by 12 of what?
To
Of
20,000.
20,000. So let's bring up our calculator, and we're going to shift our calculator to this side so we can see all our figures. Okay. So we've got 20,000, 1, 2, 3, multiplied by, and we're going to say 0.045 over
12.
12. Nice, because it's only a 12th of the money. Right. How much money do I get?
75 rand.
75 rand. So I've now got 75 rand. That's the interest I've got.
Yeah.
How much, Carl, will I have at the end of my first month?
20,075 rand.
Brilliant, eh? So it's 20,075 rand. Cool?
Yeah.
So how much do I now have? And I put it to you. If I had 20,075 rand at the end of month 1, okay, James, how much money will I have at the beginning of month 2?
20,075.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Okay? Because there's a matter of seconds between the end of 1 month and the beginning of the next. So I'm going to have 20,075 rand. Okay, now, what are we now going to do?
Work out what 0.
Speak nice, clear, loud, boldly, be proud of
Okay,
yourself.
gonna work out what 0.045 is, and then over the 12 of the 20,075.
Okay, brilliant. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Look how I'm changing the calculator, eh? But of 75. Exact same thing. Push equals, and what do I now get? 75 rand and what?
28 cents.
28 cents. Brilliant. Do I have to round it to 2 decimal places?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why?
Because
Money.
it's money, and money
Brilliant.
is always 2 decimals.
75, 28. So the next month now I've got 75 rand and 28 cents. Cool. Now I know what's going through their mind. Please don't ask me to add this. Okay. So what is our answer going to be? It's going to be 20,150 rand and
28 cents.
28 cents. There we go. Okay. All right, folks. Do we understand how we're doing this? It's straightforward, isn't it? Let's have a look at another one, very similar to this. In fact, I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do now quickly is look at a lovely hire purchase question. All right. This is your guys' favorite. You love it. Let's go for it. So here we go. I just want to see. In fact, you know what? We're going to simplify this because we're running out of time. I'm going to say to you this. The fridge was 3,799 rand. There's a bargain. Okay? It's now only 3,293 rand. So James goes off to buy the fridge, right? He goes to buy the fridge and realizes he doesn't have the money because he gave it all to Carl to buy lunch. So he's only got 3,000. He doesn't have 3,293. Says to the store manager, "Can I buy this on hire purchase?" The guy says, "We got the perfect plan for you. Give us 15% deposit, pay 166 rand a month for 3 years, and R7.50 a month admin fees. Okay, so first thing, what do we have to know, guys?
You have to know what your
Calculate my
interest.
deposit.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. Interest, deposit.
It's the
Okay,
same
two
thing.
entirely different things, but nevertheless. Right, Carl, let's go to you. You seem
Okay.
to be quite jacked up here. All right. So it's 15%. I just want to say something about Carl. I really do. Not only is Carl a great mathematician, but he's also a great hockey player. He plays for our school's first team hockey. And we're very proud of him. In fact, he's the highest goal scorer in our school. The fact that he scored 2 goals for the opposition team on Saturday is, it's embarrassing. You know, it's like, how do you score 2 goals, another 2
going
guys
in
score
different
2
directions.
goals, but your team only gets 2 in total? Mathematically, it makes no sense. But Carl, well done on your scoring.
Thanks, sir.
Just a pity it's for the wrong team. Okay, but let's get on with this, Carl. So 15 over 100 multiplied now by what, Carl?
Price.
Which is what?
3293.
Nice.
3293.
3293. Okay. And again, we're going to do it on our calculator. We're not going to do it in our head because that's just going to hurt us. All right. So we're going to say we've got 15% of what, Carl?
Of
Three, two,
93.
Okay. Which gives me an amount of, I've made a mistake
Yeah, I
here.
was just gonna say.
Yeah, look at this, hey?
The
How
times
careless
is
is that?
made- yeah.
Let's just clear this whole thing. How this is embarrassing. My lady, I apologize. Okay, so over 100 multiplied now by 3293 equals, and what do we get?
493.95.
Okay, remember that, hey? 400. Oops, my goodness. I don't know what's going on with me today. Funny, weird, and incredible things. All right, you've remembered the amount? 400 and? Okay, great. All right. 493.95. Okay. 493.95 cents. But that's just the deposit.
Yeah.
We still got to add that monthly amount we've got to pay every month. Now, how much is that? That is 166 Rand for how many months, chaps?
Well,
36.
12, 24,
36 months.
36 months, absolutely. Okay, why 36 months?
Because
Because
it's 3 years and there's
12 months in a year.
Brilliant. 12 months in a year, 3 years times 36. So we're going to again calculator, out she comes, and we're going to say 166 multiplied by 36, and we get an answer of?
5,976.
Remember that, eh? 5,076
976.
Rand. Okay. What else do we have to add to this, Carl?
The monthly admin fees.
Brilliant. Okay. And the monthly admin fee is an amount of R7.50 for how many months?
36.
36 months. And what are we going to do?
750
Calculator.
times 36.
Okay, calculate. 750 times 36. And
So
that gives me
it's 7,5.
270
70
Rand.
Rand.
Okay. So it's 270 Rand. How much am I paying for this fridge in total, chaps?
Well, you add all of that up and
Absolutely.
then you'll find out.
I paid the deposit, I've paid the monthly fee, plus I've had to pay the admin fee. Guys, this fridge is costing me a whack of money.
You can
Okay.
already see it's going to be more though.
It's going to be
because-
way more. It costs 3,293, and already just on the monthly we're paying 5,976. Plus then we've already paid the 493 Rand, plus the admin fee. We're not going to add it up because we're running out of time, and I want to do the challenge question for us. Okay, so the challenge question, here she is. So consider the table below, which shows the monthly interest paid on a loan of 600,000 Rand, the monthly payment of 5,790 Rand 13 cents, the amount paid towards the actual loan, and the balance owing at the end of every month. Okay, so let me explain what this question's about. So here we have someone who wants to buy a house, okay? And they see this cute little flat, and it only costs 600,000 Rand. How scary is that? In the good old days, you could buy a mansion, my lady.
Yeah, hey?
You could. But now you can't. You can just buy a little flat. So there it is, 600,000 Rand for this tiny little flat. Okay, are you putting lipstick on your Was that lip gloss?
Lip gloss.
Okay, all right. He says it's lip gloss. Okay, so there it is. And 600,000 Rand is the amount of money now that he's got to borrow from the bank. Now, goes to the bank, says, how much money do I owe you? The bank says, every month you pay us 5,000, and here's the figure, 5,790 Rand and 13 cents. Okay? Every month, without fail. Now, chaps, I want us to take note of this. Of that 5,790 Rand, only 790 Rand and 13 cents comes off the 600,000. 5,000 Rand is interest that's been charged to you in that month. Now that's scary. Imagine paying 5,793 Rand a month and only 793 goes towards the loan. The rest of the money, the 5,000, is going off to paying the actual, is the interest that you're being charged. But I want us to notice something. On month 40, look what begins to happen. We're still paying the 5,790, but now only 4,698 is going to interest. 1,092 Rand is the actual capital. Okay, so 1,092 is coming off the amount I owe. Look what happens when we get to month 160. We still pay 5,790 Rand and 13 cents. Carl, how much of that is interest?
2,833 Rand 79 cents.
Okay. And how much is coming off your actual bond?
2,956 Rand.
Okay, brilliant. Right. Now, let's have a look what happens in month number 240. Okay. We're paying 5,790. How much of that is interest, James?
47 Rand.
Only 47 Rand. How much is coming off the bond, Carl?
5,742
Wow.
28 cents.
Okay. So in other words, when I start taking out a loan, okay, most of the money initially is paying interest. Only a little bit is coming off that amount I borrowed. But towards the end of that loan, I'm now paying more towards my loan than the interest. Okay. Now, how do we plot that on a graph? First of all, guys, I need to ask you this. Do you think it's a simple interest or compound interest?
Compound.
It's compound.
Compound, absolutely. Okay, because the interest is based on the amount that's owing. If it was simple interest, what would, this figure's 5,000, agreed?
Yeah.
What would all these figures be?
Stay the same.
They would all be 5,000. Do we understand that? But they're not. They're going down based on the balance. Okay. So am I going to have a straight line or am I going to have a curvy line?
Curved line.
A curvy line, right. So this is what happens. Now you saw that the actual interest is going down. Agreed? So when I start paying a loan, this is what begins to happen. This is my interest line. Okay, and we're running out of time, so I've got to go very quick. And what happened to the amount of my capital?
That's going up.
How's that? That was a phenomenal question.
I think it's time for a break now, so go do a few stretches, take a deep breath, but don't go too far because we'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. Remember, if you have any questions, you can submit them to the Learn Extra Help Desk. You'll find the details pinned to the top of the page. Right now, let's do some more revision.
So let's get going with this one. And it's exactly that sort of question that we're going to deal with now. So it says 10,000 Rand is deposited at an interest rate of 5.5% per annum, compounded monthly. Oh, guys, what does compounded monthly mean? Well, it means that we're going to add a bit of interest to the total every month, and we're going to get a new total, and then at the end of the next month we're going to get interest on the initial amount plus the interest, and that will be a little bit more interest. And then we're going to add in the next month, start the opening balance of the third month will be the initial amount plus the interest from the first month plus the interest from the second month. All of that added together will be the opening balance of the third month. And at the end of the third month, we're going to get interest on more of that stuff. So the interest goes up every month. It's not simple interest. Even though the rate of interest is the same, it's because the capital, the balance, is growing. Okay? And that's the important thing. So it shows the opening balance. The table below shows the opening balances, interest and closing balances at the end of each month for a period of 3 months. And now I've given it away because I've spoken too much. But let's just take a look at the example. So what it says is we start with 10,000 Rand, right? And it says at that end of that month, you're going to add in some interest. You're going to add in 45,83 Rand. 45,83 Rand to get your interest. Now, what's the closing balance going to be? You got it? I think I've said it already, but let's get the calculator out so we can work it out. We're going to start with the initial amount of 10,000 Rand. Okay? 4 zeros. Now we're going to we're going to say to ourselves, we've been told what the interest is. I want to check that that number is right. Okay? I want to check where they got the 45 Rand because it says I must work out what the next one is, so I must check that I've got it right. I know what A is. A is the closing balance. So let's just do it first. Let's just get some marks in the bag. Plus 45 Rand and 83 cents. So that's equal to 1,045 Rand and 83 cents. That's what A is. So I'm going to write it down here. 10,045 Rand and 83 cents. You with me? Now, like I said, I want to just check how we got, whether the examiner was thinking properly. Because he said 5.5% per annum, and it's compounded monthly. So now, guys, how are we going to work out how they got to that 45 Rand and 83 cents? We must know that we've got it right, because if we don't get it right, then we need to recognize that when we do our calculations, it could be wrong. So they haven't given you the formula here, so that's a little bit unfortunate. They perhaps should have given you the formula, but we're going to just try and work it out from what we know. So the first thing that I recognize is that this amount is 5.5% per annum. I don't want 5.5% per annum. I want to know what it is per month. So what do I know? How many months in a year? I know you know this. It's 12 months in a year. So I'm going to take the 5.5%, because PA means per annum, divide by 12. This will tell me the percentage per month. And I write it as a decimal as 0.458333%. Okay? So the monthly interest, 0.45833. I want to round that off. I'm not going to round it off too soon, though. I'm going to keep it on my calculator as 0.4583 and just leave it like that, 4 decimal places, because, and that's a percent. Please don't forget, that's a percent. So what we now need to work out is, does this work? If we take that as a percentage, and we're going to say, what's the interest rate on 10,000 Rand? First of all, percentage means divide by 100. So I'm going to divide by 100, and I'm going to multiply by 10,000. Have I got enough zeros? 1, 2, 3, I need 4 zeros. And voila, what do I get? 45,833. Now, what does the notice it went 3333, but because we're dealing with money, we do round to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I am right. I know that I'm right. This is the amount per month. This is the percentage per month. I hope you followed me, so you've got that very, very much right. Because the next thing that I've got to say to myself is, what is B? I need to work out what B is. Now, the closing balance from month 1 was A. What's the opening balance? So remember what the closing balance, it was the initial amount plus the interest gives me the closing. So what's B? Looney, any idea? So that's the closing amount. Has anything happened at the end of the month? Did I take anything out? No, no. So what do we know? B must be, come, the same as A. Excellent. Looney's with us tonight.
Of course I am.
See, it's all about money. So if it's about money, Looney's worried that we're going to make sure that she saves and she gets enough money to buy that car. So we've now got a different amount to start with. How are we going to calculate the interest on that amount? So I need my calculator. Remember what we said? The amount per month, the critical value that we're dealing with, is the 5.5% divided by 12, which is 0.4583%. So let's go back and let's clear this. And we're going to say 0.4583, and it's divided by 100, because that will give me my percent. Okay, that's my percentage. I've divided by 100. I haven't made a mistake. I'm now going to multiply it by the opening balance. And the opening balance was 10,000, same as the closing balance, and 45 Rand and 83 cents. 10,000, 45, 83 equals, guys, look at this. This is phenomenal. We started with an interest of 45 Rand. What have we got in the second month? C, the value that we want. The value that we want for C is an extra little bit. Now, you might not think that's very much, but it actually makes a big difference, because I now can add not 45.83, but I can add 46 Rand and 4 cents to my total. So I'm adding just a little bit more. Every time I'm adding a little bit more. So where do we go to? This value C, we've got 46 Rand and 4 cents. What must we add it to? We must add it to the total that we had, which was 10,045 Rand and 83 cents. Good? And what do we get? We get 10,091 Rand and 87 cents. So that's my answer for D, 10,091.87. Let me write it down. 10,091.87. Now, some of you are saying, but that 10,000 has hardly moved. Guys, we've only left it for 2 months. You did nothing and you've got 91 Rand. You did nothing. And you've got enough money there to go for a pizza and a Coke. So you can see what I'm saying. You can get a little bit of money, but you could just waste it on a pizza and a Coke and you'd have nothing for it. But if you leave it, invest it, it will grow and it will grow and it will get more. So what's the answer for E? What's the opening balance at the beginning of the third month? Well, it's the same as the closing balance at the end of the second month. It's 10,091.87. Okay. So I hope that you've got that. I hope it's making sense to you, that you can see exactly what's going on here. That with compound interest and with taking loans and investments, things grow. And it's very important that we understand opening balance, interest, and closing balance. On your bank account, there's another factor that will come into play. When you look at your bank account, you'll see there's something else. And what's that? Charges. Now, guys, if you're wise about the amount of withdrawals and you read the conditions, you're not going to have ugly surprises. Because the last thing you want is to have a bank account where you think you're saving, but actually it's all being eaten up because you're not doing the right thing. If you go into the branch, into the teller, and ask them to print out your statements, or if you go and ask them to deposit some cash, well, you can do all of that either through the internet or at an ATM, and you don't get charged as much. So you need to be wise about how you do your banking, because at the end of the day, you want your balance to grow and not to decrease. You want to eliminate your charges and get them down to almost nothing. And the more you save, the better you look after, the better the bank will look after you. Now, we're going to talk about one of the biggest investments you can make. And I'm going to skip to question number 3. And this is the investment of buying property, buying your house. Now, it takes a very long time to get enough money to buy a house. So most people, like me, like Looney, will have to go and ask somebody to borrow. You'll have to go and borrow money, take out a loan to buy a house because it costs so much. You need to carry on saving, but you need to have a loan to buy a property. Unless you've done it very well, and you're somebody like Mark Shuttleworth who's done a business and then sold the business, then you can go and buy for cash. If you're running your own business, then you can do that. But the ordinary person, we're going to have to, some stage, borrow money, whether it be from a bank or from a rich uncle. We're going to have to borrow money to buy for a house. Now, one of the reasons that in your exam you may come across this way of representing it is because it's used in everyday situations. Housing estates, called estate agents, people that sell houses, are estate agents, and they give their clients, the potential buyers, an idea of the repayments on a bond. A bond means a loan for a house. A loan for a house. It's also called a mortgage. All of those terms you should know. Now, most people don't want to go and sit in an estate agent's office while they pull out a calculator, even if it's a lovely Casio calculator, and they push the buttons and then spit it out. No, they have these little sheets printed. And they're saying, well, and you can even see them online. There's some apps online or that you can get on a tablet that will project for you how much you're going to have to pay if you're wanting your GTI, or you're wanting your house in Sandton, or you're wanting a house somewhere else. They can tell you, okay, so how much longer do you want to invest for? What's the interest rate? What's the deposit? All of those things are taken care of. So we call this a factor table. Now, it's very important because it works out for us our monthly repayments. So what it does for us, we need to take the loan amount, and we're going to take the loan amount, and we're then going to, it gives us the loan amount divided by, there was a missing thing there, divided by 1,000, because this is worked out per 1,000 rand. And then we multiply it by the factor. Now, what's the factor? This is the factor that we're getting here. So let me give you an example. If I want to buy something and I'm going to choose the interest rate at 9%, and I'm using my time period of 25 years, then the factor that I'm going to use in my formula is this number, 8,39. Okay. So you can work it out for yourself on different amounts. You can see that if instead of 25 years, I want to do it over, say, 20 years, but at a higher interest rate, then the factor is going to be different. Okay? But notice if the interest rate is less, and that's quite an interesting one just to look at. So there was my one factor. But look what happens when the time is less. My factor is more. That's telling me that I'm going to pay more each month. But am I going to pay more overall? Well, let's have a look and see. So, have a look here. The house alongside, down at the bottom there, is being sold for 75,000 rand. Okay? Mr. Duma decides he wants to buy this for his wife, and so he goes to the bank, who are prepared to give him a loan at an interest rate of 10.5% per year. Okay? So the interest rate, 10.25%. So there's the interest rate. Let's just use the eraser to get rid of everything else. This is the interest rate that he's being offered, 10.25%. Now, it doesn't matter how much he's going to borrow from them, but if it's at 10.25%, those are the factors that he's going to have to look at. Now, the question goes on to say that he wants to take the loan over a period of 20 years. So on the factor table, we now have to look at the time. And we go down, it's not 5 years, it's not 15 years, it's 20 years. So the factor that we're looking at is 20 years, the time, we've got the interest rate, which is the one that we want. We've got a factor of 9.82. 9.82. Now, how much will so it says, use the above table, using the table above, determine the factor that Mr. Duma will use. So we said 9.82. Did I get that right? I'm sure I did. We've circled it, 9.82. Correct. How much will Mr. Duma need to pay every month on his home loan? So now remember, it was 75,000. Oh, that's a horrible 5. I don't know why my 5s sometimes go funny. 75,000, and we're going to divide by 1,000 because it's per 1,000 rand. Okay, so that's going to cancel out, times the factor, which was 9.82. So if I do that calculation, let's not trust my mental arithmetic. Let's put it in. 75,000, 1, 2, 3, divided by 1,000, 1, 2, 3, multiplied by 9.82. And that gives us an answer of 7,365 rand. 7,365 rand. 7,365 rand. There we go. So, guys, here's the crux of the question that I want you to pay very, very careful attention to. It asks us, how much will Mr. Duma have paid in total after 20 years, 20-year period? So, let's understand something now. Every year has 12 months in it. Okay? So what we're going to say, how many months is in 20 years? So we're going to need to take that amount and multiply it by 20 years, first of all, and then multiply it by 12 months. Okay? See what I've done? I've got the monthly repayment multiplied by 20 years, multiplied by 12. So we can get the answer. And there we go. Have a look at this. That is huge. Looney, can you read it off there? 176,600.
How many numbers?
How many is that? It was 76,000. So it's 1 million, because if we count them up, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So look how much he has had to pay. He's had to pay 1,767,000. Now let's get the calculator up so it doesn't disappear. 600.
Say that number, Jack.
So that's 1,767,600. But guys, do you see the problem here? How much has he paid extra for this house? He started off with the house supposedly only going to cost him 750,000. Can you see he's paid more than 1 million? Why did he pay more than 1 million? He paid it to the bank. He was paying interest. Okay. If he had paid off that amount sooner, this is the real cost. Okay? This is the real cost. He thought he was buying his house for only 75,000, 750,000. Okay? But actually, he ended up paying over $1 million.
Okay guys, I hope you're enjoying this revision session. If you are struggling and need help, please post on the page or submit your questions to the Learn Extra help desk. Now it's time to take a quick break, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. Remember, if you need to revise any other topics, you can get the notes and watch all the videos from the Learn Extra live shows on learn.mindset.co.za, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/mindsetlearn. You'll find that we've organized all the videos into shelves and playlists to make it easy for you to get what you want. Now it's time to get back to the revision.
Here's question number 1. Question 1 says, consider the table below, which gives the inflation rate of a new motor vehicle over a period of time. So this isn't a general inflation rate. This is specifically for motor vehicles. So they've isolated motor vehicles and they've got a rate. And what they're saying, from the 1st of January 2005 to the 1st of January, notice it's a year, the inflation rate was 14%. From the 1st of January 2006 to 2007, it was 6.75%. And from the 1st of January to the 1st of January, that's from 2007 to 2008, negative 4.5%. So now let's see what the questions ask. It says, if the car costs 144,500 on the 1st of January 2005, then determine the cost of the same vehicle on the 1st of January 2006. Now, guys, we shouldn't really strictly be doing this, but let's use the figures and let's try and do it, because remember, inflation's an average, even on cars. If it was on the same car would lose value over time. That's called depreciation. But if it's a new car, it's new on the 1st, then we'll say, what would that car cost if we took into account inflation? So let's have a look. What we're going to do, we are working from 2005 to 2006, and we're saying the rate of inflation is 14%. That means that the price you pay for the same thing has gone up by 14%. So really the problem is how to work out what 14% is and add it to the original price. And that's not difficult, because we know percent means divide by 100. So I'm going to say 14 divided by 100, and I'm then going to times, don't do that. Let's take that one away, because I want to get out of there. There we go. And then we're going to times the fraction by 144,500. 500. And this will give me my increase. This is my percentage that the price is going to get up, because it's a positive value. So what is it? It's 20,230. So the amount that I must add to my price is 20,230. So I must add 20,230. That's what I must say. It's 20,230 plus 144,500. Now I'm not going to leave that to chance. I'm going to take my calculator and add those two together. I'm going to say, right, I started with that. I'm now going to add 114,500, and I'm going to get an answer of 164,730. 164,730 rands. Now, guys, if I want to check it, there is another way to do it. And I want to show you that other way. If you ever have to increase something by a certain percentage, then you can do it by straight multiplication. Instead of adding, like I've done here, I added the 14% to the original amount. So I could say this is like 100% and this is 14%. So really what I need to do is to multiply the total by 114%. If I break that down into a decimal, I can do it like this. I can say 114 divided by 100 equals, oh, didn't divide properly. 114 divided by 100 equals that amount, which is 1,14. So you can work it out in decimals. You can always know that it's 1,14 if you're wanting to increase something by 14%. This is like just the same sort of calculation you do if you want to find what the total is after you've added VAT. So we're taking 1,14, and we're going to multiply it by the original amount, which is 114,500, and I've typed them in, and check the answer, 164,730, and it's exactly what I got the other way. So I know my answer is correct. It's a very good idea that you understand both methods. In an exam or test, you can do the one method and then check it with the other method so that you know that you haven't made a mistake. Right, next question. It says, what would someone pay for this type of vehicle in January 2007, on the 1st of January 2007? So, guys, let's have a look. We know that it went up 14%. We're now looking at 2007. We only know the original price, which was a 2005 price. We now know what the 2006 price is. That's the 2006 price. And we're saying inflation is a positive 6.75%. So that means it's increased by 6.75 on the 2006 price. So to work out the 2007 price, I'm going to take the 2006 price, which is 164,730, and I'm going to multiply it by 1 comma. Now look here, this is very important. It's not 14%, it's 6.75%. So it's 106.75%. 106.75%. So when I do that, I can do it on the calculator, but I'm going to tell you it's 0.675. Let's check it on the calculator. Even though we've got that answer clear, we're going to say 6.75 divided by 100. And what does that give me? It gives me 0.675. I'm now going to say plus 1, and I'll get that answer. And I'm going to multiply that by 64,730. Correct it. Make sure that your readings are right. 16470, and you get an answer here of 175,849,275. Now the 275, can we read it as 275? No, we've got to round off to 2 decimal places. Really, when we're dealing with cars, we can even forget about the cents. Nobody's worried about the cents. We round off to the nearest whole number, and the nearest whole rand is 49 rand. So I would say that this price you're going to pay is let me just get it. I didn't take note. 175,949. 175,849. 175,849 rand. And that's to the nearest rand, and I've just rounded it off. If I wanted to round it off to the nearest cent, you could do that as well. It's not going to be totally incorrect. Okay, so we've got the value now at the end, or at the beginning of 2007. That's my 2007 value in January, 2007 January. Now, the table says something interesting. It says from 2007 to 2008, look here, negative 4.5. What do you think that means? Negative 4.5. Well, it means the price has decreased. Maybe they made too many cars. And the reason now is that not enough people are buying. And there's a stockpile. And the manufacturers want to bring out a new model, so they've dropped the prices. That's what happens. So the price is now decreased. How much is it decreased by? By 4.5%. Now I'm going to do it the first way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to show you how to calculate 4.5% of my total, which is the first way that I did it. So I'm going to say the negative means there's been a decrease in price. And as I said, there could be lots of reasons for that.
We've come to the end of today's show. Thanks for joining me and for chatting to me during the show. Remember to visit our website, learn.mindset.co.za, to download the show notes and to watch all the videos from this year's shows. Goodbye.